Welcome to Family Business Diaries, the podcast where we unravel secrets of family businesses. I'm your host, Maria Santia Samoa. And guess what? Today, we are in Tema at Sinetheta Engineering Group Limited, sitting here with a brilliant lady. You get to know more about her, but her name is Priscilla Korshie-Sherrie. And let's dive right into it, okay? All right. So welcome to
Thank
Family
you
Business
very much.
Diaries.
Thank you.
I mean, we've been trying to schedule this for a while. I'm so glad it's finally happened. And
Amen.
yeah, okay. So just to get things rolling, tell us a bit about yourself. Maybe 3 lines, 3 interesting things about yourself.
Okay. So I consider myself a passionate woman, right? Everything I do, I make sure there's passion to it or in it, right? And that's one of my propellers. The second is that I do everything to please God. Right. I think recently I spoke to one of my former bosses and he said, "Hey, are you still Christian?" I said, "Yes, I'm still." Yes,
Hallelujah.
the Christian is fake Christian, but I took it in a correct way. Like, are you always showing Christ? Yes,
Yes.
I'm always showing Christ. So those are the 2 things that you can describe me by.
Passion and criff. Love it. All right. So we're here and let's talk about the family business. We're here because we want to share your story on Family Business Diaries. So walk us through your journey, how you ended up joining the business. Did you want to? Was it forced? Tell us the secrets.
Oh, that's a very interesting story. Okay. So this business was started 30 years ago. We are now 30th year. And apparently when they started, I was still a baby. However, I didn't really know much about it, obviously, because I was a baby. Growing up, I realized from a distance, I would spend some time in the office. At that time, we're in other space. And I would just watch my father. What is he doing? Is this interesting? I said, nah, this is not for me. This is not my calling. And I think when I was about to write the BC, somehow they wanted me to do science. I said, I won't do science for you. It's in general arts, visual arts. And so I think I selected Gehe, Holiku, Ebri girls. Gehe. Yeah, it's a very weird combination. If I hadn't got to Gehe, I would have gone to school.
Basically, that's it.
Right, but... Sorry, for Gehe, I got visual art, right? And I think I took that from my dad. Even though he was an engineer, he still had that art part of him because when he was on calls, you see that he doodles everywhere. And so I went to school, went to read visual art, came out, and went to tech, came out, went to work in a bank, came out, went to work in another fintech. And while in the process, I like going to school. I must say that every year or every other year, I try to become better at something, study something, whether it's a short course or a long course. So I think when I was still at the bank, I told my father that I had seen an HR course in Gimpa and that he should pay for me to go and do it.
HR.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Someone who read publishing studies.
It's okay.
We
won't judge.
Right. And he was like, okay. Because again, they say it was like
Support
education. So he paid for it. I went for it. I think it was a 12-week course. Yeah. And after the course, I came back and I told my daddy, I think you need an HR in your company because they had moved here. I think this next year will be their 10th year in this new building. And I was like, you need an HR. Ironically, on Saturday, I was going through my mail looking for something. I saw that I'd done a whole HR document for him and I'd sent it to him.
Woman on a mission.
And he was like, okay. And then I think the conversation just fizzled out and we're just there. And because he moved here, there was some space. I used to actively run quite a number of side businesses because if you're an entrepreneur's child, you would know that you need to always do something on the side. And so I had one of my businesses downstairs. And when I came, I saw him. We used to talk about it, how business was going. He'll give you ideas, or you can do A, B, and C. I think one of my business people pulled out. He was all up in my case, fighting for me. See, along the line, what my father would do is that sometimes he'll push work to you. So he'll bring a BOQ home, a bill of quantity. He's done all the calculations and he said, type it out for me.
So it gives you an idea.
Yes, it gives you an idea. And sometimes when he's working, he'll carry us along, my brother and I. Then even if you do not ask for explanation, he would tell you what he's doing.
So he carried you along somehow.
Yes, so sadly, right? He didn't do it in hey, you have to come, you have to be a doctor, blah. No,
it's a nice strategy.
So in December, I had a very difficult conversation with my boss. Had resigned, and after I'm his immediate.
Yeah.
Ideally, I should have been the one taking the role. And then I have a conversation with someone. I'm like, Charlie, my father has passed on. His business is there. I mean, when you look at the width of the business, the cars, there are some cars that have even moved to field, right? The cars, the building itself, the goodwill. I don't
Certainly. 30
think we
years.
should just leave it to chance. I mean, some people are advising my mommy, oh, sell the building and share the money. I said, hey,
That's short.
very short term. And the person was like, the amount of goodwill your father has left, it will take years for anyone to build that. That good, you can literally run a business with goodwill. We
Yes.
don't know, but you can run a business
It
with
makes a
goodwill.
huge difference.
So he said, I think you should take that leap of faith. I had this conversation in October. I was like, oh, Masa, I don't do anything. Right? And then in November, they come and tell us they don't have money. In December, they come back again.
You can't keep pushing money without.
And I tell my
more.
mommy that, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. Yeah. I'm going
That's
to quit my
bold.
job. Very bold. I mean, I had a full-blown conversation with a friend who had gone, a senior from Gehe, who I seem to have carried through because she went to tech with me, but I didn't even see her. Then we ended up working together before she left the
Wow.
company. And she was like, if it was her, she would have quit her job a long time ago
To
and
join.
started a come and took over because it's her father's business.
Mm.
Right. So I was like, okay, let's do this. It's going to be crazy. I spoke to my husband because I can't just, I'm married. So
You're about to
I
cause
told him, he was
problems.
like, whatever, if you feel led to, I'm behind you, I'm supporting you. And so we did it. Funny enough, in growing up, I realized that God had been there. He gave me key people that I didn't even understand their impact till I took up the role, right? I had someone who was working in KPMG. She had just moved outside to study. And so when I told her about it, when I opened up, because she was actually a family friend, she started taking me through strategy, business strategy. Right? I had a lawyer friend as a neighbor. She quickly came in and started doing legal things or helping with legal things. Right? And this person who told me to take the leap of faith, I told the person, I'm not an engineer. In Ghana, they tell you that you cannot run an engineering firm if you're not an engineer. I need an engineer. He just gave me 3 people. Turns out that the person I selected, I went to school with his younger sister. I'm telling you,
Wow.
it's a very interesting
The
story.
lines were just falling in pleasant
Exactly, the
places.
boundary lines. And so we started, we've been at it. It's been difficult. I had people look at me and tell me, you can't do this.
But you're here doing it.
Yeah, after more than a year, we are still in it.
Nah, well done.
Right,
Well
yeah.
done. Okay, so I'm listening to this story and I can't even imagine how you felt. You know, the emotional drain from losing a dad suddenly, of course, and then almost feeling like, okay, everything is falling apart because the business he started is suddenly, well, what is this? You don't have money. You start to question certain things, right?
Exactly.
And I'm just, how did you guys manage that? Because you, as the firstborn, I think there's something about firstborns where you feel responsible, like you feel like everything's on your shoulder. How did you feel? Tell us the truth. Tell us like, how did you feel?
I think it was hard, right? It was very hard, but growing up, I had a mom who was pretty strong, both mentally and spiritually, right? And so I went with God. And I went with and to God. I think it was at that point that I realized that I actually understood that God was the source of my strength. Because I remember when my father passed away and my mommy told me, like, I got up. Guess what I said? Thank you, Jesus.
That
So
was your
now,
first.
yes, after I screamed, obviously because it's information, I was like, in all things, she said we should give thanks. Yes,
Like in the moment,
in
that's
the
what came
moment.
to you.
And I think by
Krife?
acknowledging, I personally believe that we really can't move in life without. You have to
No.
choose a side. It's either you're choosing God or choosing the other, but you can't do a middle ground sort of thing, right? So, in all of these things, I was strengthened in faith. Right. I remember when I was going through, it was a very tough time. I think the second week after he had passed, I spoke to a friend and he was like, death is fatal, but not final. And I carried it. I was like, it's like the Holy Spirit told him to tell me
Tell
that
you.
it's not the end, right? So it's how you carry yourself through the whole
Yeah.
thing. So yes, it was hard, but I also think that in hindsight, God had prepared me or was preparing me. If I tell you I sensed death 6 months prior to my father's passing, I just didn't know who was going to die. And
Wow.
I dreamt I was in a cemetery in black. I was like, oh, we pray, we fast, we bind, we cast. And then at that time I had a daddy. She also dreamt that someone had given birth in our family. Now, because my mom is spiritually strong, for lack of a better word, I remember when we're growing up and we have dreams, she would tell you that, oh, when you dream that someone is being given birth to, usually it's not a joyful dream. It means that someone's about to die. But I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, that's good.
You forgot the lessons.
Yeah, so I think what really took me through it was God and the kind of people who my inner circle, right? Who could
Yeah.
look at me and see that, Charlie, you are struggling, and could see beyond that. Because I had a friend who was also an entrepreneur who spoke to me every day right from the day my father died, and she didn't know my father had died till like 3 weeks after I mentioned it. She was like, "Hey, you're having
For
normal
3 weeks.
conversations with me, advising me." I said yes, because I didn't feel like it should be a burden to anybody else, right? So we managed it the way we could, and I kept trusting God. The days I will cry, I'll break down and cry. I think it even made me realize that in my marriage, I'm very closed up, right? I'll toughen up and try and solve issues on my own. But after my father passed, I realized I do need my husband.
You have
Tough
to
women
Google
don't
your own
last so
small.
much. Yes.
No, this is good. But I want to focus on family a bit before we talk
No
business, right?
problem.
When you realize, okay, you need to step in and save the business, almost quote unquote. Did you talk to your mom? Like, do you guys have a meeting where you say, okay, this has to happen? Rather, are you interested? You're old. You said you're the first one, right? Did you guys decide who should do it, or you just decided, hey, somebody needs to do it, so I'm doing it?
No, we didn't have an extended family meeting. It's
Okay.
just a nuclear family. And I mentioned to my mom that I feel that I should do this. She was like, "Hey, why do you want to do this? The way things are going, they say we should lock up, we didn't lock up." And I said, Mommy,
The business
the
can
drama
wait.
you are doing, no, we can continue like that, and the business will not bring any money. One, you are
Yeah.
retired. The business needs to run to give you some money because you're a shareholder, right? He said, oh God, mercy. Lord, have mercy on us. But in
Oh,
the
our
end, she
mothers.
understood. Yes,
Yeah.
she understood. Till date, sometimes when things are pretty hard, she's like, hey, we shouldn't have done this. Or what have I done to my daughter? I'm like, please, no, I don't need you to be doing that. I need you to be If you can't say anything, say pray to God. Don't come and tell
Yeah.
me I'm feeling
You make it
bad about it.
worse.
Thank you. Right. So it wasn't but my brother, over the years, when we were speaking to him, even when daddy died, he was like, he also wants to build his, right. I remember I mentioned to him that, the way Google is, and there's Google has a lot of subsidiaries. I don't know whether many people know. You can just come and join Sinetheta and then become a subsidiary of the mother group. But later on I realized that men like to own things. That's why usually when there's continuity in business, it's the women who actually do that,
You
not the
do it.
men.
Yeah.
Right? Because the men also want
They're
to start
builders.
something and own it on their own. So
You're a tough lady.
I don't think I'm tough. I think it's really good. Like, seriously, because the person he was working with claimed that he kept telling him that, oh, start bringing the children in. But when the children did come in, that person absconded, basically got up and said, I ain't going to do this again with you.
I know this is an interesting story. But the great thing is, and that's why I go back to your introduction, what you say your values are. The criffet that we laugh about. I think that's what's got you going and that's what's keeping you,
Oh,
right?
that's my
Because,
gas. Because
yeah, because knowing all this, it's almost like a ticking bomb, and yet you're still fighting and holding on to that legacy.
yes.
That's great, and I'm sure we'll hear good stories from this.
Oh,
Honestly,
you will.
so Priscilla, we've discussed Daddy, we've discussed the foundation. Now, for a year, you have been in charge. This is a business that is what 30 years. So for 29 years, he ran the business. You're in
28.
for 28 years, sorry. He ran the business and now you're in charge. What has it been like with you as the CEO? Like from day one when you walked in, what did it feel like? Let's talk about that journey as CEO of, a legacy business and you starting your own journey.
Okay, so working in as CEO was a bit different because I used to come in as the daughter of the CEO, right? And the small girl who followed him everywhere. But working in as a CEO gave me, also because of where I came from, right? I had a better understanding of business structure and organizational structure, sort of. And because I did that HR course very
The HR.
inadvertently, yes, it also helped me. So when I came in, I realized, one, there is structure, but there's not structure, right? And that was one thing I put my hands to do. And I realized culture makes the people. I remember when I was coming, the three things I was told about is the people, the process, and the technology. And so I came in to ensure that the people didn't feel like I was coming in to come and ransack everybody and leave, right? And also make them understand that It's because I want the business to continue. That's why I've come, not because I'm not interested. The process, understand what are the processes that are currently ongoing. How can we improve them? And technology, how do we further improve by applying technology to everything? Because we're in an age where continuity is dependent on how much technology you inculcate into your process.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the first move. I tried to understand the business from a marketing perspective, right? Or marketing and sales perspective, because I did marketing and sales. So I
Yeah.
understood that I needed to bring money in to keep the business running. So what can I do? Who do I know? What are my connections as at now? And who can pull a string here and there for us to have some bread and butter whilst we put everything in place? And so those were the things I did when I came in. Thankfully, by the end of the year, we knew where we were going and where we'll be going for the next 5 years. Yes, it wasn't that because we knew it was going to be easy, but we believed that God was with us
Yeah.
and God is with us, and so He's leading us. Also, by the end, we could clearly tell these are the departments. The departments are supporting functions to the divisions. The divisions bring in money to run the business. And all of this, my KPMG friend was outstanding in ensuring that this was done, plus the legalities. Yeah.
Having people matters, huh?
Yes,
It's
your
really important.
network
Yeah.
is your
It's
net worth. No one
they say it,
understands
but
it till you're in a hard space.
yes, yes. But I like this because one of the things I struggled with, and then just interviewing other guests, I think just last week we posted on Dr. Gifty Kwashi saying same. It's like your father starts with a vision, and I mean, you run with it for a while whilst he's around. But after a while, you need to have your own vision. You need to carry on with your thing because she said, she put it well, when her father died, he died with a vision because you can't refer back to him and say, okay, so what's the next step and what are we doing next, right? Like you need to own it and understand that this is
Exactly.
my thing. So it's good hearing you say, and you say you have the strategy for the next 5 years.
We are trying.
No, you're not, you do it. So so that's really good. But what is your goal? Where do you want the business to go? Like, what do you wish for? I mean,
Okay, so our vision is not just to be in Ghana. We want to be the leading electrical engineering firm in Africa, right? With a focus
nice.
on continuing for generations. Because when I took this role, I realized why in Africa we never seem to move, right? Someone starts something great. If per chance during his lifetime or her lifetime, nothing happens to chill the dream, when he dies, something has to happen to kill the dream. I believe that there are so many businesses that have died with their founders because
Yep.
nobody has been given the, I won't say mandates, but has the strength to pull through
Carry
all
through.
of the different issues you would face to continue the business, right? And so that's where I want to take Sinetheta to is to create generational impact, right? And we are doing it through our divisions. So the training, I know when my father was around, he had an apprenticeship program sort of. He stopped, I think, 10 years ago because the apprentices became some way. But I took it up and I realized that there's a need for education. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Let's restructure it properly because education makes a difference. The two things that make a difference in Africa is education and media. It's for the reason why the educational system is so horrible. Because when people are not educated, they are not
They don't
exposed to
have
do
it.
the right thing. And media, it's how you carry whatever information across, right? If the media is tainted in any way, it means that
That's it.
information being carried across is going to be tainted. And so there's not going to be growth.
Yeah.
Right. So we came in, I said, okay, let's this division take over training. Let them train people specifically in this area. Projects, let's become more sustainable. I mean, the world is becoming more
That's what,
sustainable. Let's
yeah.
move to solar, right? Let's trade and let's look for ways of owning things that we're trading. Can we get to the point where we own that, okay, there are lights that are produced by Sinetheta, like the way we can look back and say Schneider produced this product
Yeah.
or Schneider produced that product. Sinetheta should also be able to do that, even if it's white labeled in the beginning. It's fine.
Loving it. So you see the marketing, the HR, everything is
Yes,
coming
it makes
together.
sense now.
No, I really like it. Let's talk. Okay, so in the business, you came with a vision. How did the people receive you? That's another thing, right? You meant well. You said you wanted the people to understand that, listen, I'm not coming here to clear you or frustrate you. But how did they receive you? It makes a difference because for me, for instance, most of my father's workers knew me as the girl who come in from school in her uniform. I want paper to print. I want paper to like, and now suddenly you're here giving instructions. Like, what was the reception like?
It wasn't warm.
Oh,
It was very hostile.
it's a tough
And
place to be.
yes, I remember when I took this season, I had to have very hard conversations with the previous team. I had to let some people go. I had to tell some people that, oh, you are nearing retirement, right? So I need someone who will come in and come and understudy
Understudy.
you. After that conversation, the person refused to pick up my calls, stopped coming to work.
Because how dare you?
Exactly, because he had known me since I was a
Yeah.
child, right? And the other one I had to let go. She literally fought hook, line, sinker at me, and the reason for letting her go was truthfully, I didn't in a newer organization, I didn't know where to put her, right? Truthfully, and I also realized something. That's when people think that they know you, it's an
Yeah.
impediment to
It's
them
tough.
following instructions, right? And I didn't want that culture to be bred. You know, ironically, the people I left, they are leaving. The people I said, oh, you guys can stay and grow with us.
They
One
can't
person
run
left
with the
last year.
vision.
One person's about to leave. I've sensed that the last person will leave, and then we have literally cleared everybody except the security guys. I said that I want to keep them because they have knowledge of the place and they
Yeah.
understand the area. But beyond that, everybody else here is literally new, very new.
But not by your doing. It's just a
Oh, no,
new
no, no. This
culture. They
this is
can't fit
not.
in,
Yes,
right?
yes. It's not.
But it's always a tough thing because you're coming in and you have your issues. I mean, you're questioning yourself. Am I good for you? You have your own things you're
Thank
dealing with,
you.
right? And then there are people thinking you're
You're
out
coming
for
to
the.
kill
I'm
them
like,
and sack
no,
them. Really?
I actually need you, so we move along. Like
Exactly. I you see the truth is I've come to realize that it's exposure. It's truthfully it's like if someone exposed I've been in a business which was about to go bankrupt. I saw how they had to restructure, re-interview everybody. I remember I was starting in the seat and they were asking, "Can you do marketing and sales alone, i.e., become a lean team?" I said yes. Right. So because I'd been exposed to that, I
yeah,
knew that I won't come in and intentionally make you lose your
yeah,
job. What will I
yeah,
get from it? What will I gain from it? Right? How am I impacting your life? Because you have a family to feed.
exactly.
Right. So I think that exposure made me look at it very differently. But again, because the exposure wasn't there at their end and they were so used to my father's very
Kind.
autocratic lifestyle
Uh,
and leadership style. Me, I'm not. I'm a very weird blend of autocratic and laissez-faire. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. You're not giving me my results. I'll tell you one. I'll tell you two. The third time, please go. We are done. I can't come and kill
Sharp, sharp.
myself.
All right. So, what about stakeholders? Usually people, when you talk to other family businesses, they say that, okay, I started working with my dad. So we had a few years together, got to know the people, customers, suppliers. Now, you didn't have any of that, right? So, sorry, I'm asking all these questions because I'm trying to walk through your journey and I'm thinking you need a big hug. But yeah, just talking about stakeholders, the others, how did that? Because then there was like a break for a while, right? So how did that go
My
with
father had
stakeholders?
OCD, so he documented everything. So I came
Whoa,
here one day, I was sitting here, I was like, where are the suppliers? I raised it up and it was printed over the suppliers, partners. So I just picked it up and started calling. And when I came in, I remember my business strategist said you have to formally write to everybody, telling them about his demise and the fact that you are taking over, right? So that even if he didn't introduce you, there's a
there's something.
similitude of
Introduction.
fluidity,
Yeah.
there's a transition, right? So I did that. And so when I got the numbers, I also did that. When I was getting married, I remember I got married in COVID time and I said, I won't do reception. My father said, you have to do reception. I said, I won't do. He said, I'll pay for the reception. That's reception.
That's where
Saved
you
me.
met.
Because people came, obviously I don't remember. We're wedding day, you
Yeah.
never remember anybody, but
Yeah.
they all seem to remember you. So when I call, I'm like, oh, I'm F.O. Godwin or Engineer Godwin's daughter. They're like, oh yeah, I came for the reception.
Reception. See the lines. But that's good, right? The OCD in this case is
Oh,
good.
it was very good.
It's very good. And that's what we keep hammering to family businesses is the idea of writing, having SOPs, putting things, documenting everything. That's what you're saying. That if you
Exactly.
hadn't put that there, who are you going to call? Because you say the main people that you could have relied on all left, right? So then it would have been so. But your dad really had things in place. He was really planning,
Maybe let's say
or it's
maybe
just
he
the
knew he was going
OCD.
to die, and
He
plus
didn't
the
know that.
OCD, plus the OCD.
Interesting. But now let's talk about this. You said you did visual ads and
Oh
HR.
yes.
Now this is me. I did ads as well, and I'm in mining. mining support, but still you hear all these technical jargons that leave you dizzy every now and then. Did you think about that? Did it make you pause that woman engineering, how are we gonna do this, with my visual arts, or you were ready for?
I think the only thing that made me pause was when I went to visit one of my dad's clients, dad's partners, and he told me, "You can't do this." I remember I went with my senior engineer and Godwin, the finance manager.
Yes.
He told me in my face that you can't do this. The law says that an engineer has to be a director, and he called someone right in front of me and he asked, can they run a business without the engineer, and blah blah blah, and the person was like, oh no, and they gave examples of someone an engineer whose daughter was an engineer, who after he passed, the daughter ran it down, this girl was actually an engineer.
So
I remember after I came out of that room, I was so broken. I was like, what is this? Am I supposed to be doing this? Should I stop? It's just 2 months after I've left my job. I can go back.
Oh my, you can't go back.
I can look for a job. And I remember Engineer Echo, because he's my engineer, he was like, you can do this. Don't mind them. If I tell you that this year I went to visit the guy, he was like, I'm so proud of you. The
Oh
same
my
person.
goodness.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how far you've come. And I'm like, oh, we thank God.
Oh my goodness. I refuse to cry on set.
Don't cry.
Okay.
So about being a square peg in a round hole, I told you I like education. And I told you there's
About school.
nothing you cannot learn. So when I came, I actually took a course. I was studying, right? So I understand the basics. Brilliant things. My father had exposed me, so it wasn't too... Yes, I didn't do science. I didn't go and do engineering, but it wasn't so far-fetched. And growing up, my mom is a teacher, and she used to tell me, infer, whatever you learn here, you can use to can infer from it and learn in this area. So that's what I did. I took up a course. I told myself, see, and someone actually told me, you don't need to be an engineer to run an engineering business. Do your part. Do the business
Yes,
side.
the
Kill the
business.
business side, and let the technical people do it. Just make sure you understand that. And before we need so, that's
Yeah.
all. Right. So that's what I did. I just went to school to understand, what is this? How is it connected? Okay, how do you draw the electrical wiring drawings? I did it. How do you calculate? I've calculated. I'm going to write an exam. That's all.
Wow. We have to write a book.
Oh, maybe next 10 years or something. I did publishing studies, so it's not too
Please, what
far-fetched.
haven't you done? Tell us.
I read publishing studies in school, so.
No, but I'm still emotional from what you said about, it's interesting how people's words can break you, right? Like, and if you decide not to hold on to your vision and push through, like you could just kill dreams without even realizing. Now, before we go on to advising next gens and doing all of that, I mean, what are the key lessons over the last 2 years, really? Key lessons you've learned, from all your experiences. Maybe 2 key lessons, because I feel like it's just a working miracle. But yes, give us two key lessons.
Okay, first key lesson is business is more spiritual than you think, right? And I keep telling people that there are times I'm sitting down, I don't know where the salary is going to come from. Someone calls me and says, oh, the discussion we had about you doing A, B, and C. Well, come and pick up a check. Yeah. Right. So it's more spiritual than we think. And if you want to go or rise high in business, someone mentioned to me that the higher you rise, the more you understand that it's very spiritual. You have to choose a side, and you can't be on the fence.
No lukewarm.
Right. So start choosing the side right from when you are young, so that when you grow and they give you hard decisions, you see that you are going with us, or we won't give you the gig. You're like, okay, my God shall supply all my needs. He supplied.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the first one. The second one is have a heart for people. Like, I didn't take up this role because I didn't have anything to do in my life. I took up the role because I believed that my father had done something and had impacted so many people. I didn't think because he had died it should end, right? So I took that up, and I said, okay, if we are coming here for the people, let's make sure the people are at the center of everything. Yes, it doesn't mean that when you are doing wrong, I will not talk. I will talk and we'll correct it and we'll move on. And finally, structure is key. You cannot... Your body has structure. Your body has skeleton. A skeleton that holds the skin and everything. So I don't understand why people want to run businesses and they don't want to set up a structure and adhere to all policies. And there's one thing I've learned when I took over, that structure is key. Get an advisory board if you can't get a board of directors that is working. Get a senior management team. Get a middle management. Set up work procedures that work, right? That you can easily look at, because structure will take you wherever you want to take, wherever you want to go to. And that's why we can look at the Americans and feel like they've done. It's just because they have structure, right? So those are the 3 takeaways for me. You said 2,
Business
but I did
is
3.
business is spiritual. Have a heart for the people and structure, structure, structure. I keep saying it so much. It's like, thank you for hammering it again, audience. Structure is key. Yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult for us to put in structure. I think sometimes people feel we have time. Sometimes people feel bringing in external parties. There's the fear of betrayal. There's different things that they explain, right?
But sorry to cut you. I think for my dad, I think he felt he had structure.
Or
I
he
mean, for
believes.
someone who was OCD, he felt he had structure, i.e., they file everything. Um, he writes everything. He makes sure that everything's properly filed. But that wasn't the structure he needed. He needed organizational structure. Where's your money coming from? Who is in charge of that money? How are you keeping up with the management team running the business, right? How are you keeping up with your partners? Who is engaging your clients? How are they engaging your clients? How are you looking at the feedback from the engagements they have with the clients? What is marketing doing? What is marketing bringing? Right? All of that subtle. Who is your board? Who can tell you,
Did
see
you
this?
have one?
Yes, please. Who can tell you
Okay.
this move that you want to do? We the board, we don't agree. So if you do it, you're on your own, right? Who is talking to you beyond yourself? And so because I felt when I came here, I remember someone told me that your father has an LLC but was running like a sole proprietor. And when I took over, I understood, because I had to now come and do a lot of organogram HR
Yeah.
shenanigans. Again, the word for
The
the
word for
day.
the day.
I think when you are showing this, you should explain the word shenanigans.
We'll leave that to
Right?
the producers.
Yeah, so that's that. I think that sometimes it's not even just external. They feel that they
Yeah.
have, again, exposure.
Certainly. I was
If you're
about to say
exposed properly, you will know that what you have is not structure.
so is it a thing of creating more awareness or educating some of these, founders? Because I mean my dad in his interview had said that, listen, but for the banks asking for certain things, for him, he had just identified a need and he was trying to solve it and make money in the process. It's not like he wasn't thinking of where's your business plan. Like those things were not on his mind. So I think sometimes creating that awareness also helps. So maybe we should cut them some slack and not.
Yes, I cut him a lot of slack.
Okay. But now we will hammer it a lot for those who can do something about it to do it, so that we
Exactly.
we can have the continuity, seamless transitions, right? Okay. So I shouldn't even ask because I know the answer, but if you could change anything, what would it be? Would you still do this? What would you do differently?
If I could change anything, I would still do this. But I wish he didn't die.
Yes.
But I will still do this. And what will I do differently? Seek better legal counsel. Right? Yeah. Because sometimes we take decisions, we're like, I need to move, I need to move. We don't want to think about the legalities. And then a year or two down the line, the thing that you were ignoring, is shining in your eyes. Right. So
Doesn't go
that's what I
away.
would have done better. Seek more legal counsel. Yeah. But I'll still do this again.
Okay. Or is it possible you would have joined much earlier? The
No,
exposure helped you, so no.
no, I didn't. I didn't want to. My father and I, we used to clash a lot, because you see how passionate I am? He was exactly like that.
So then it's like,
My mom would tell you that the two of you are always the same. That's why we always fighting about things, right? Daddy, let's do it this way. No. Daddy, let's do it this way. No.
no.
It's okay, me, I'll mind you again. I'm going my way.
And
So
then
there
you
was no
do,
way we could have
yeah.
worked together. Right. Yeah.
Interesting. So to wrap up, we usually ask for advice. It's okay. We are allowed to advise the founders and then the next gen. So you are the next gen. So give an advice to your dad's people and to our classmates on, just advise us.
Hey, you want me to advise my dad's people? What am I going
Yeah.
to tell them?
Advise them what you wish they will be doing. Because really, I mean, you're one family business. I'm a family business. Like, if everybody did things right, if we could put things in place, I
Africa will be
honestly
a better
feel,
place.
yes, exactly. So for those who can do right or who can fix things, let's advise them. They'll listen, hopefully, and then put things in place. So
So I think draw your children in, right? Let them know who you're dealing with, even if it's not formal. go out with them, go for dinners and parties for partners and customers with them, right? Subtly let them understand that I want this to continue even after I'm dead. I don't need to leave a will. If there's a woman amongst them, get her even closer, because we women have the tendency to nurture things, right? Anything you give a woman, she would multiply it and give it back to you. So just make sure that she understands that this is my dream. Don't come and hound it every day, but let her understand that this is where I want the business to go to.
Okay.
Invite her for key things, sometimes drag her along. And when you die, try not to die interstate. Leave a will and will your business. Look at your children and will the business to people who you feel, your children who you feel are almost like-minded or responsible to keep running it. And even if you can't tell them where you want to take the business to, write it down in your will. Someone will take it up. It's just a matter of how you draw them in. Someone would definitely take it up, because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if anyone had told me that I would come and work with my father, I was like, oh, what are you talking? I cannot be bothered, right? Also because I had charted my life. I knew that, oh, marketing and sales and business development, that's where I'm going. I mean, I'm on the right course. I mean, your boss resigns, because I was working with a Frenchman. He resigns and he's actually telling the directors or officers that, oh, I think you should bring this girl on board. And then this girl gets up and says, I'm going to do my father's business.
That's leaving cash on the table.
Exactly. I remember when I told I think my boss, the one who took over from my boss, I was like, isn't there anyone in your family who can take over the business apart from you?
Yeah.
I said, no.
It's a major sacrifice.
Yeah, so that's the advice to them. And then for the next gen, steady. Like, take it up and steady. Become better. Every day tell yourself, I'm going to become a better version of myself for this business to move on to the next level. That's all.
Oh, Priscilla, thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, just inspired. You got me very emotional on this. I'm a guy girl, so I'm usually very hard like that. But this time, your story really touched me. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Priscilla for joining us on this episode of Family Business Diaries. To our audience, hope you enjoyed this episode. As you know, we release new episodes monthly, and you can catch us on all podcast streaming platforms and on YouTube at Family Business Diaries. Also check us out on social media at Family Business Diaries for all the behind the scenes action. Hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you. Bye.